of May 12th, 2025 to order. Mr. Francia, could you take the roll, please?
Mr. Fantini.
Here.
Mr. Young.
Here.
Mr. Walters.
Here.
Ms. Cleland McGrath.
Here.
Ms. Moulton.
Here.
Mr. McDougall.
Here.
Ms. Hubick.
Here.
Thank you.
Would you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? All right, announcements and committee reports. A couple announcements. Just got an update from Skagit County with regards to the Guimas Ferry haul out. Probably not great news to most of us, but Guimas Ferry is expected to return to service midday on May 23rd. So that's a date to plan for. Also, better news, ferry, just a reminder, the Marine Transportation Pilot Program offers free daily passenger service between Anacortes and San Juan County. Again, this pilot will conclude June 30th, 2025. Links to all the schedules and services can be found at sanjuancountywa.gov. And again, that's out of Cap Santa to the islands. Also, Skagit Transit Long Range Transportation Plan is still open for public comment. This plan provides the framework for enhancing and expanding transit over the next decade. Plan and feedback forms available online at skagit.transit.org, by email, or hard copies available at Skagit Station. Public comments, again, open through Wednesday, May 14th. July 4th, right around the corner, Grand Marshal nominations and float applications are still open. Hard copies at the Senior Center or forms online. And that's it for me. Announcements, committee reports. Finance Committee is up first.
Mayor Miller?
Ms. Moulton.
That meeting ended up being canceled.
Oh, thank you.
Yep.
Okay. Next up, Housing, Affordability, and Community Services Committee.
Mayor Miller?
Ms. Moulton.
Thank you. The HACS Committee met last Thursday, May 7th. Council members Cleland McGrath and Walters and I were in attendance with staff, and we had an update from Ms. Snyder about the CDBG grant. All of the projects have been completed from 2024, and the Salvation Army's project, their capital project for flooring, came in under budget, about $10,000, so that was really good news. And we will talk about that, what we'll do with that money, I think at the budget retreat. We have used all our COVID funds for the cold weather shelter from 2020 until this last winter. And usually we spend about $8,000 to $9,000 a year on the cold weather shelter. So I think we talked about, my notes aren't the clearest, but we talked about maybe that $10,000 going to the cold weather shelter for next year. So what else? I have a lot of notes and I'm just trying to make sense of them. We talked about the North Star Housing Task Force work that Mr. Walters is a part of, and we looked at a spreadsheet of what different jurisdictions are doing to increase housing availability. And it was sort of gratifying to see that Anacortes has checked a lot of the boxes of those things to increase that availability. And other cities are doing as well, but that housing task force is a great opportunity for jurisdictions to learn from each other and how we can all move forward as a county as well. There's also coming up a North Star, I think we've mentioned this before too, it's a symposium that is basically full, but a lot of elected officials will be there on June 6th at the Swinomish Casino, and also a lot of service providers. And there are different tracks. One's on housing, one's on substance use recovery, and there are 2 other tracks. And there will be keynote speakers and experts there, and it'll be a great opportunity to network and again learn from each other about best practices and what's working in different places and what we can do to move forward together. And that was That was pretty, a part of that day. There's a shorter meeting for elected officials only to enhance the understanding and clarity of the whole North Star initiative and what they're doing. So we'll also be attending that to the council members that are going. And that's it for planning.
Okay, any questions for?
Whoops,
Hax?
sorry,
Yep.
I mean, that's for Hacks.
Yeah, no, Hax. Any questions there?
Mayor Miller.
Mr. Walters?
I just recall that we also wanted to encourage any other council member who can't take the whole day for the symposium to go to one or the other of the proposed meetings of council members from all the various cities. I think that's at 8:30, is that right? On that Friday, June 6th, and then I think there's another option, but it's shorter, maybe an hour. Whole Friday for the symposium may be difficult for everybody, but if you can just go for that hour, even though it is at 8:30 in the morning, I think it would be helpful to advance the conversation on North Star generally.
Yeah, and I know most of you have signed up, but if you haven't signed up and you want to try to go for a little, just a short period, let me know and I'll coordinate with the folks there, because yes, it is full and we want to know who's there, but we will be noticing that as a quorum. Thank you. Any other questions for Hacks? Okay, Planning Committee,
Mayor Miller.
Ms. Moulton.
The planning committee met at 5 p.m. today, and same council members, and John Coleman, our planning director, and we talked about the critical areas update and the comp plan update. And so we are on track to have our comp plan adopted by the end of this year. And currently, for the critical areas update, we have a consultant who's looking at best available science and if that has changed over the past, since we updated our critical areas update most recently in 2021. So just to see if any of the rules have changed and if we need to adapt anything as we do that. The comp plan itself, the Planning Commission has been hard at work on that. They have the last 3 goals and policies to review. They'll have a meeting on the climate element, another one, and they will also meet about the parks element and the economic development element. And after that, the draft will be finished by the end of June, beginning of July, so coming right up. And then that will be gone over by the Planning Commission as well. And there will be a tracker sheet for each goal and policy and public comments. And there have been quite a few, so it's great to see that public participation. We think there have been about 50 or upwards of 50 comments so far, and with more opportunity to comment. So our outreach has been really successful in getting and having people contribute to that. And that is, and then we'll have a check-in at council about where we are more in detail right around the time the draft is released. So we'll have a good overview heading into our work on it. Thank you.
Any questions for planning? All right, Port City Liaison Committee,
Mayor Miller.
Mr. Walters.
We met last week, last Tuesday, I think it was. And our primary agenda item was discussion of the event center and the agreements around the event center. The intergovernmental property use agreement should be coming to council pretty soon. I see the city attorney nodding. Pretty soon is the authoritative answer as to when that's happening. And it will resolve some of the outstanding issues from the property swap that we agreed to with the port a number of months ago to achieve the road realignment, the curvature of 9th to R and the change in Market Street to intersect with R Avenue apart from that current 5-way intersection. So that is a component of the various things we're doing with the port, and that'll be happening nearer term. The next thing after that are the interlocal agreements for construction and operation of the proposed event center. Still working on putting final touches on those. We went over with port staff and electeds some of the feedback from our outside counsel that was appropriate to go over with them. Resolved, I think, a couple of just question marks on that. And so now the remaining task is just to polish it up and then get it in front of the Port Commission and the City Council in anticipation of a future joint Port-City meeting. Now, we had been targeting that for May 27. Is that still the expected date? Yeah. So, so that may still be happening this month, and we'll get the drafts out to everybody as soon as we've got them.
Mayor Miller,
Mr. Fantini.
just wanted to add on to that really quickly that at that meeting, one of the port commissioners, Kathy Pittis, along with myself, did ask if we could send out more than just kind of the draft, but also kind of a summary of a little bit of the work that's been done, because we understand that sometimes with the limitations we have of all talking to each other when it comes to this big of an item, that it might be helpful for the mayor and then the port director or the executive director of the port to kind of just send out a summary with that agreement before it comes to us at council, in case any of the others have some questions that they want to do some thinking on or bring to the table before that meeting.
Okay, any other Port City Liaison comments, questions? All right, Public Safety Committee,
Mayor Miller.
Ms. Cleland McGrath.
Thank you. Public Safety Committee met on May 6th. Councilmember Hubick was in person, which was exciting, and myself. We had Chief Harris there, McDonald, and Burbank. So we discussed our vacancies. We've got 2 vacancies currently for EMTs. We're interviewing a couple. Looks like we should have something lining up in the near future. The other big discussion point was our medic units. We are going to be purchasing 2 medic units, one using the EMS levy, and then one this following year in 2026. So we should take delivery dates of either late 2025 or early 2026 for those 2 units. So we're pretty excited. They are needed. We discussed somewhat about there's the medic unit, and then there's also the power loads, which is the contraption that picks up the gurney and then puts it into the unit. When we bid them, we did not include that as part of it. So we will be making some adjustments going forward, and then when we look at budgeting and planning for purchasing them in the future. Right now, we've got the ability to use existing power loads. I appreciated the fact that McDonald did some research looking at the option of leasing versus purchasing those, the gurneys, the power lifts, and the stair chairs. For what we do and the amount of use we get, it appears that we should just purchase them because we have the ability to keep them for a longer period of time and keep them in working order versus leasing them. So it's always nice to get that research happening. And then also Burbank told us a little bit about his discussions with the rest of the county about the possibility of doing a regional training center coordination. Other counties have a regional center where they do all of their trainings just to kind of save on costs and make it more efficient. So he's starting those conversations with other cities in the county. And then it would be available for police and fire, 911, dispatch, all of those things. Our current facility we use is out at Summit Park, and it is getting older. So we'll be needing some updates. That being said, the other exciting news, on May 8th and 9th, myself and the port director, Brett Greenwood, were invited by our fire department to attend the fire ups in Boise, Idaho. So we went along with Battalion Chief Beyer and Battalion Chief Oliver. So I just want to give a huge thank you. That was eye-opening. It was an eye-opening experience. We flew over to Boise. We got oriented on a Thursday, scared ourselves, pretty nervous, went to bed early. On Friday morning at 7 a.m., we put on all of the gear. We put on our tanks. We got to climb a ladder 60 feet up in the air with our tank on, which was a lot of work. Cut holes. We used chainsaws to cut roofs open. We did zero visibility, trying to pull people out of buildings with full of smoke and zero visibility. We rode around in the back of an aid car. So what I want to say is that it was incredibly eye-opening, the preparation, the commitment, the professionalism, the continued education that our fire department goes through and firefighters across the country go through. It was really incredible. I got a small taste of the physical toll, but also some discussion on the emotional toll for our first responders and the impact it has for their families at home too, right? This is a pretty challenging work that is not 9 to 5. So we had a lot of long discussions. Battalion Chief Byer talks a lot. If you've ever talked to him, he can talk your ear off. And so it was really great to have that opportunity to learn about what they're doing and the amount of risk they take to protect us every day. So thank you for that. And I suggest anyone who hasn't done it, if you ever get offered, do it for sure.
All right, thank you for the report. Any questions? Any other announcements or committee reports I may have missed? All right, we'll move on to item 4, which is public comment. Opportunity for anybody wish to address the council on anything. All right, nobody hand raised online. Okay, we'll move on to our consent agenda, items 5A through D. Council.
Mayor Miller,
Ms. Moulton.
I move that we approve consent agenda items 5A through D.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Moulton, a second by Ms. Hubick to approve consent agenda. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. On to item 6, other business. First item is item 6A, contract award, Commercial Avenue Corridor Plan Phase 1, 11th Street to 13th Street. Discussion item, possible action, and this is what I often refer to as the Safeway intersection. Mr. Rayoon.
Mayor, Council, good evening. Before you is a contract for the construction of Commercial Avenue from 11th to 14th Street. The contract is with Calicurcio Brothers in the amount of $1,964,312. The engineer's estimate was $2.4 million. The project includes the intersections of Commercial Avenue and 11th, 12th, and 13th, and the segments of Commercial Avenue between 11th and 14th, and a portion of 12th Avenue heading westbound. The project includes replacing the antiquated signal at 12th and Commercial with a new signal system, protected bike lanes on all segments and intersections, pedestrian facilities on all segments and intersections, pedestrian scale lighting, and one elevated intersection at 11th and Commercial. The project was identified in the 2025 Capital Facilities Plan. The project is funded partially by Washington Department of Transportation, the Transportation Improvement Board, and the city. The design was done by Alta Engineering with WashDOT review and approval. The contract is included up to 60 working days. We haven't met with the contractor yet, so we don't know exactly what their schedule or what they're thinking of sequencing and all that type of stuff. That usually happens after you approve the contract. If approved, staff will, oh, there we go. I'll stop there.
All
And
right.
this,
Yeah,
just real quick, this has been a project on the books since 2019. It's had a lot of different twists and turns, I would say. About a year ago, we decided as a city to move forward with a new signalized intersection, so we went from zero design through full design in that year, and here we are.
Yeah, I think the council, most everybody on councils realizes a long-term project where we've gone from roundabout to no roundabout, and we're excited about moving forward with this one, with a project that's not going to close the intersection for 6 months and require taking property. But anyway, sorry, I'll turn it over to council for any questions, comments.
Mayor Miller?
Mr. Walters.
This looks like a really good price on this project. Obviously, the project change in scope helped that immensely, but it's also a good price compared to quite a few of the other bids. 60-day construction time, also calendar days. Also, glad we're using calendar days.
Working days.
It says 60 calendar days in the
That's 60
in the
working
cover
days.
sheet.
In the what?
In the cover sheet, it says 60 calendar days.
It should be working days.
Is it working days then? Oh, I thought we were moving away from calling it working days and moving back to calendar days. What do we think that might translate to then in calendar days?
So I don't know yet. So that's a generous amount of time for this project. We don't think it'll take that long. So I need to meet with the contractor to see what they're thinking because sequencing will really dictate how long it takes.
Yeah.
So it'll be, well, quite a few days. I don't think it'll be 60 working days.
Okay, all right. Well, now I feel slightly less good about it, but still pretty good about it. I think that this is a good project. I think it will be a significant improvement. It'll be an opportunity for us to try out some new things, especially at 11th Street there, and improve the signalization equipment. So I'm pleased that we are where we are with a much cheaper intersection than some of the prior designs.
Mayor Miller?
Ms. Moulton?
Thank you. So just to confirm, so I'm looking at the map, thank you. And so I am just wondering, when we're doing 11th to 13th, the curb ramps, those will be at all three of those intersections on each side of on each corner, right?
Correct.
Okay, great. That is what I wanted to know. And that's pretty much it. They're not going to each side of commercial on 11th and 13th. It's just the intersection itself that's being improved.
Oh, no, they're the segments as well. The segments as well in the road, like we're changing the channelization, they call it. So we're adding bike lanes for every segment. So that changes the layout of each segment.
Right, okay, but we're not doing the segments between O and commercial and Q. Or we are? Because that's just not highlighted on the map.
Oh, you mean
Yeah.
we're just going up and down
Just-
commercial.
okay, great.
But
I
we are
just-
going out 12th, westbound.
Yes, I
Okay.
do see that. Okay, perfect. Thanks for clarifying. I'm just really glad about the curb ramps at the other intersections too. That was my main question, so thank you.
Yeah. It will be all ADA compliant.
Mayor Miller?
Mr. Walters?
I checked the contract. The contract also says 60 calendar days.
Oh, maybe it's calendar. I thought it was business, or we'll have a schedule. I'll let you guys all know it.
Yeah.
Could
The
be a
business
good deal.
community's
Yeah,
also.
it could be. I mean, that's good.
Yeah, that's quick. It's not a huge project.
Other questions, comments?
Mayor Miller?
Mr. Young?
Well, in lieu of any other questions, unless the council members have questions, I move that the city authorize the mayor to sign contract 19-095-TRN-005 with Calacurio Brothers? No, Calacurcio? Calacurcio, it was my southern accent that kicked in the amount of $1,964,312.10 to perform the Commercial Avenue Corridor Plan Phase 1 through 11th Street to 13th Street project.
Second.
Okay, a motion by Mr. Young and a second by Mr. Fantini to approve the contract as presented. Any additional discussion? Mr. Franciac, vote please.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mr. Walters?
Yes.
Ms. Cleveland McGrath?
Yes.
Ms. Moulton?
Yes.
Mr. McDougall?
Yes.
Ms. Hubick?
Yes.
Mr. Fantini?
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, thank you. And I know Mr. Rayham's pleased that I'm not going to be asking him every week, when is this contract, when are we going out to bid, when is this contract coming to council? So again, pretty excited about moving forward. And we will, of course, keep the public informed as we move forward as we're working with the contractor. So thank you. 6B, contract award, farmers market lease agreement. Discussion possible action. Mr. Lunsford.
Mayor Miller, council, members of the audience, we have had a lease with the farmers market that was signed in 2020, and then it was not renewed. I think it was just an oversight. So we contacted the market, and they did indeed want to renew. So we had to change some exhibits because the area they'll be using will be expanding with the Maritime Plaza, and we wanted to update some things in the contract, just some house cleaning. So we're bringing that to you tonight. Some of the highlights, it's just a renewal of the 2020 lease, sets conditions for rent use of the facility, rent and use of the facilities. The Friends of the Forest are no longer there, so they may or may not share the office as they had in the past. That would be up to our mutual discussion. And then it runs through December 2020 unless it is renewed, and then it would continue on. So I know you like a good map, so do I. This one erroneously says easement area. We have a new one that will say lease area on it, so that was our error, and apologize for that, but we will update that for you. But this is the area in question. It's just on R Avenue. It's the location of the depot and the extension of the plaza you can see to Market Street. And with that, I'm done with my presentation if you have any questions.
All right, questions for Mr. Lunsford?
Mayor Miller?
Mr. Young?
I really appreciate, again, how much the farmers market mean to our community. It really is a wonderful, wonderful place for so many things to happen. I'm hoping, though, that somehow in the future that we find a way to further connect the farmers market to downtown, even though it's like 2 blocks, but just that continuity of one feeding the other is something that I think we could benefit from and, impart once. And, there are those of us that have mobility issues, even though I'm working on it, But, but just the idea of that continuity where people can, be downtown, work together. So I think that there are options that we should be thinking about because, it'll help downtown, and I think the downtown shoppers will also help the farmers market. But I know that doesn't have anything to do with this. Just for the record, I wanted to put that forward. I think it's something at some point we should really have a good discussion about and then explore all the options.
Sure, that's an excellent point, Mr. Young. I think that and the event center coming to fruition in the plaza, I think will help to tie everything together. Certainly a mutual goal.
Mayor Miller,
Mr. McDougall?
this is more of a curiosity. I don't expect any of us here to actually know the answer to this question, but I am kind of curious about the annual revenues that the farmers market essentially produces in aggregate. I guess our sheet here describes, basically it being an economic development factor that is probably not insignificant. And so, anyway, if we ever get a chance to have somebody from the farmers market in to talk about it, it would be great to hear. Or if you happen to know.
I
that'd be great
have
too.
that in the grant presentation we did to the county last year, so it may be add an inflator on, but I can just forward that to you, our grant presentation.
That'd be great.
That would have that information.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mayor Miller?
Mr. Walters?
I move that we approve the lease agreement with the replacement Exhibit B.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Walters and a second by Mr. McDougall to authorize a depot building lease agreement as presented with the changes discussed. Any additional discussion? Mr. Franciac, vote please.
Mr. Walters?
Yes.
Ms. Cleveland McGrath?
Yes.
Ms. Moulton?
Yes.
Mr. McDougall?
Yes.
Ms. Hubick?
Yes.
Mr. Fantini?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, thank you. No further business for the council. I'll adjourn tonight's meeting.